recording and also watching the chat for any questions. So we will be pausing. I'll be pausing for questions throughout the session, but we will have time at the end. So feel free to type in your questions in the chat. Again, we will be recording. So if you'd like your camera to be turned off, because it does capture any camera or that's live, please do that. And also please mute your mics when you're not speaking. The slides will be available, and since I mentioned earlier that I will be going live online, so those will not be on the slides, of course, but the slides and the recording of this session will be available tomorrow, and it will actually be mailed to you if you did register for the session. Our contact information is on the screen, so if you do have any questions afterwards, feel free to use the email on the screen. Right. So after this session, you'll be able to maintain a personal RefWorks account, organize your citations in PDFs, create a reference list and in-text citations, and then locate more information about RefWorks, about creating your account or maintaining your account. So this is kind of an overview of someone who is starting out with RefWorks or starting off with a citation manager. So RefWorks is a type of citation manager, a reference manager. Those are the terminologies that you've probably heard about RefWorks, or as Catherine mentioned earlier, Mendeley, Zotero. So these are the other citation managers that are out there. It allows you to keep track of and store references in PDFs. It allows you to organize your PDFs and your references in tags and folders, and it allows you to create citations and bibliographies / reference lists. So a lot of the citation managers you'll encounter actually are have similar features. The interface may be different. How quickly they process a particular record is a little bit different, and they may have a desktop client which you download onto your laptop or desktop, or it's just web-based. So those are some of the differences. And with RefWorks, this is free to everyone at USC that has a current email address, USC email address. It has unlimited storage, so you don't have to worry about how many PDFs you're storing in RefWorks. And then it's web-based, so you can access this with any internet connection you have, and you don't download anything onto your desktop that relates to RefWorks as the software. You're going to download something if you do use it with Microsoft Word, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So in order to create an account, you'll have to go to refworks.proquest.com. I want to emphasize that you will select create account. I've had folks try to log in using my institution, which is, it doesn't work very well, or it doesn't work at all, actually. If you try to use this my institution login, you will want to use the create account login or create account link. You'll be asked to use your USC email, and that's why it's free to all USC students, faculty, and staff. And then you'll have to confirm your account afterwards. All right, so adding references is probably, one of the most important things that you'll do, and why you want a citation manager. And so these are some of the ways that we add a reference to RefWorks. And again, probably very similar to other citation managers. So this is, just wanted to give you a picture of my main page for my RefWorks account. So you'll see a lot of the citations and references already included there. But I wanted to kind of pull out and go to my actual account, go live into my actual account. And this is what that looks like. And so a lot of the questions I get with RefWorks is like, okay, what's the best way, or how do I add references? So there are a few different ways to do that. And kind of an effective way to use RefWorks is integrating it into your workflow. So no matter which database or search engine you use to find articles, there is a way to integrate RefWorks into your workflow. So for example, if I find an article just like this one, I'm using Google Scholar, or I'm just happen to find an article that I like, and it goes into the article's page. So this is from the publisher's Sage. This is the title up here. This is a very busy web page, but I kind of wanted to use this as an example, because what you'll have to do to add the citation to RefWorks, this is one of the ways, is to actually find on the page something that says cite or import citation or export citation, something like that. So here it is on the left-hand side of the page. And if you select that, this will actually give you options. Number one, how to cite things in different formats, in different styles, but also how to download the citation. So you can select RefWorks here. And if you select download citation, some of the pages will take you to a page like this, because it'll tell you exactly what you're putting into RefWorks. This is the metadata, or the information that's going to get put into RefWorks. So we'll submit the data, and then that should kind of open up my RefWorks account if I'm already logged in, and then it should put that citation within my RefWorks account. All right, so it's a little slow going here, but what's going to happen is that it's going to ask you which project to put into, because RefWorks allows you to have many different projects or libraries to put in. So you could select which one you want to use. I'm going to use the demo project one. And then you can even put it into a folder right away, but I'm not going to put it in the folder just yet. So I'm going to hit import, and then it's going to import the citation into RefWorks. All right, so I've saved one citation there, and I'll hit OK, and it's processing it. So that's one of the ways to do that. Another way to import a citation there into RefWorks is if you are using the USC Library search and you find an article that you like, there is, this is the article record. There is a link directly into RefWorks here. So if you select that, it's going to be similar to what we did previously, and it imports the citation, and you go through the same steps that you did previously. Another way to save a citation is to actually, we're kind of processing it. Let me go into another window. Another way to do this is saving your PDFs directly, right? So a lot of times students or folks come to me and they're like, I already have a big folder of PDFs. How do I use RefWorks and import the citations in there? So what you can do is actually drag and drop the article or the PDF into RefWorks right off the bat, and then it actually attaches the article into the record, and it creates the record for the article. So you'll notice that it right here, it's preparing the document. So it's reading all that metadata or all that information about the article, and it's putting it into RefWorks itself. I also wanted to point out that the article that we put in earlier, I believe it's this one, or yeah, maybe it's this particular one. But this is the second one right here is what we just put in, the PDF. And you'll notice that there is like a little PDF icon. So if you see that icon right there, you'll notice, it'll tell you that a PDF is attached to that particular record. All right, so one last thing with putting things into RefWorks. So let's say I find a report or a web page I like, and I want to save it so I can access it later. I can start putting into folders maybe. There's something, and there's no like direct link into RefWorks because a lot of the web pages like this will not have a direct link into RefWorks. So what you could do is actually save this particular the information on this site using a bookmarklet or a bookmark bar link called Save to RefWorks. So what happens is if you click this link here, it opens up a little window on the right. It's actually reading the information on the page, and it's kind of pulling the information and it's going to put that into RefWorks. And you can actually change the type of reference here. I'm going to make it a web page, and it's going to ask me if I want to save the contents of this web page. It actually kind of takes a picture of everything that's on the web page and it saves that into RefWorks itself. So I'll hit save to RefWorks, and then that particular item will be imported into my RefWorks account. All right, so that is how I would save a few things into RefWorks. I'm just looking into my notes just to make sure I cover everything, but I kind of wanted to pause to see if there are any questions.
Can we ask these verbally, or you want us to type them?
Oh, you can ask. I can see you right now. I can see you, Mark.
So if I go through another database, I just need to have the RefWorks saved onto my bookmarks. Is that what you were showing? And then
yes,
hit it while I'm on that page, and it should be able to upload that.
Yeah, so it should pull the article information, the article citation. There are times when it actually detects a PDF and it tries to pull that as well. But I do have to say that's kind of hit and miss. So it does definitely pull the citation, but it may not pull like the PDF. And I do want to point out that where you get that bookmark, that little bookmark link is under Tools. So I'm going to click Tools right here, and this will just give you kind of more information about how to install that bookmark bar link, and also how to connect your RefWorks account into Microsoft Word and Google Docs. So you'll notice this is the Save to References on the web. And if you scroll down just a bit, this is where you can, there's more information about your word processor, which I'll go into actually in a few minutes. So I don't want to go too deeply into that one. Were there any questions before I moved on? All right, so I wanted to give you kind of a little tour of the top menu up here. So this is, you can actually add items manually. So this is good for if you're adding like a DVD or something kind of non-traditional that you're going to use for your research. You could actually add those items manually. You could share your folders with a collaborator. If you have a group project or a co-author that you're working with, you could share your folders. Or if you're like, I want to export my references into another citation manager, or for some reason put it into like an Excel sheet, you could do that as well. And this is where you can start creating your bibliography, which I'll go into in a minute. So not going to go into there deeply. And then this is also where you can delete and add tags. So you can select a couple of records. You can delete them if you don't want them anymore. You could start adding tags here if you want. If you haven't created a tag yet, you can do that here. Also, you can search all your references as well. So if you forget, like, you know what, give me everything by Roxane Gay, you could type in the author, and then it'll bring up all the items by that particular author. So this is really useful if you have a large library of things. You may have lost track of some things and you're like, did I save that already? So you can kind of search using that. I'm going to go a little bit lower here. This is the display area. So the default is it displays 50 references per page. You could go up to 1,000, 2,000. And then this is the normal view, meaning it's a default view. So it just gives you information about the articles or the items that you have there, but you can change that to many different views. So I'm going to go into table view really quick. And again, this is useful, I think, for certain types of research, for systematic reviews, if you're doing that type of methodology. Or what I like to do is actually change it to citation view. So I'm going to click that there, and it shows my references as APA 7th edition. And you can add or modify or select the citation that you want using this little widget or gear. If you click on that, it'll actually show you all the ones that you saved, all the citation styles that you saved. And then, or you could search for the ones that you want, like MLA, APA. It has all the most commonly used citation styles. So I like to do that. And one thing that it shows me is that there may be some missing information. So that's one of the tips that I kind of wanted to share, is that whatever gets ingested into RefWorks is what is going to come out when you're creating a bibliography or creating a reference list. So if there is missing information, for example, let's use this example here. Examining the effects of campus climate, ethnic group cohesion, and cross-cultural interaction. So let's say I like this article, but it looks like it's missing an author for some reason. Maybe it was missing in the metadata when I ingested it. I can actually edit all references in RefWorks by selecting the article itself, by clicking on this pencil icon. And then it just opens up the record itself here. So looks like it's a little off, meaning it should have more fields. I don't know why it's not coming up. Let me change this to a different view. I was telling Alyssa earlier that the work from home situation is happening since my spouse is also on a Zoom call. And so let's see what happens with our live demo. But again, you can, if there is something missing within your any of your references, you can add and edit your references within there. So there it goes. So what I did is click on the pencil icon, and it opens up the record. So it shows you it's a journal article. It is missing the authors right here. So you could input it, you could type it in, or you could use this little, I call it a lightning bolt. There might be an official name for it, but it's a lightning bolt. So if you click that link, it'll actually try to find the article for you using the ProQuest databases. So RefWorks is provided, or the company that provides us RefWorks is called ProQuest. And you may have noticed that ProQuest provides us with a lot of the databases and links to articles. So they do have a large database of articles in the back end. So I just say that because this little icon here, if you click on it, it'll actually analyze or look at the title of your reference, and it'll say, did you mean one of these? So the first one looks right. If I click on that, it'll actually complete the reference for you. So again, if there's missing information, you could use this little icon it analyzes the title and it finds it in the backend, the database of it. It finds the right information and it completes the reference for you. Right. So that's one way of actually getting a correct reference into RefWorks. I also wanted to point out that I mentioned that adding PDFs are actually, it's actually one of the best ways to add references into your personal library. But if you don't have the PDF, if it is an article, it actually has the Find It at USC link included in the record. So with that it's connected to the USC library subscriptions, excuse me. And then if you click that, it'll take you to the article record. So the PDF isn't in RefWorks, but you will have a link to the PDF right here if needed. So it does take you back to the library site. All right. So just a couple of things before I pause for questions. You can also, if you have the PDF, you can read the PDF within RefWorks itself. And also highlight and annotate the PDF too. So if you like to highlight your PDFs or add notes to your PDFs, you can do that. So you can highlight up here and then add little comments. There's little comments that you can add. You can also create notes on the side. So this is a good one for chapter 1. So, or, kind of add notes as you're reading it. So you can save it within RefWorks too. So you can use it kind of like as a note-taking kind of vehicle as well, or note-taking tool. All right, so that's kind of a quick glance at getting things into RefWorks, and also what your RefWorks library will look like, how to customize things within the account. And then I'm going to pause really quick while I go back to my slides and see if there are any questions.
Melanee,
Yes.
is just now Catherine added a question to chat. So there's she has some references in a Word doc. Is there a copy and paste function, or should I just put the references in Google and get it online and download to RefWorks? So I guess reference that are already on a Word document.
Yeah, so if it's in a Word document, if it's just like a Word document that has like information about the citation, I don't think there's any way where we can upload that and it'll read it'll create the records for you, unfortunately. So one thing that you'll need to do is either, find it in Google Scholar or the USC library site, and then it'll import the citation into RefWorks, or download the PDFs if you have the PDFs, and then drag and drop or upload the PDFs into your account. Does that answer your question?
Yes, she said.
I didn't see the chat, sorry. Okay. All right, so you may have noticed that I'm skipping some slides, and they're actually just slides that are similar to what I did live. And I wanted to have them just in case, the internet wasn't working well, but it's also something that you can review when you get the slides tomorrow. All right. So I wanted to talk about organizing your references, because once you get like a ton of references in there, you want to organize them. So there are a few different ways to do that. The most common way, of course, is by folders. So you could create many different folders. I think there's like unlimited amount of folders you can create. You can also create subfolders. So this could be kind of your own way of organizing things, because you could do it by topic. by topic area, by class. So this is for Education 603, or for this is the framing class, or for this is the research methods class, or you can even have subfolders below that. Some folks use it as, I want to use this for chapter 1, for chapter 2, chapter 3, that type of thing. So you could create the folders on the left-hand side of the screen here. You could drag and drop your items into each folder. Also, you can transfer a bunch of different things all at once into one folder. So I selected 3 items, and then you could select assign folder, and then you can actually put it in different folders. So if you want, all these 3 articles in maybe the citation analysis folder, and then also in the polymathic folder, you could do that. And one thing to keep in mind is that it actually, all the records stay in the all references page, or in that all references bucket. And even if you put it in different folders, this is kind of your main page right here that has all the references that you've downloaded or put into your Citation Manager. Also, folks like to use tags as well. So this is similar to putting into folders, but you're actually just tagging the article by something that's descriptive. So if you want to tag a few different articles that says, again, chapter 1, chapter 2, or Education 603, you're going to start tagging these. And then if you select that particular tag, then all the articles tagged under that category will actually come up. So that's just another way to do that. And it's similar to folders. You can select a few different ones at a time and add tags to all of them all at once. If you have some tags already, you could do that here. Oh, and then there's also tags on the left, meaning if you select, let's say, gerontology, all the items that are tagged gerontology will be displayed. All right, so another way to add tags is also going into the reference record. This is where we added the author. This is where you could add tags as well, right down here. So there's a lot of different ways or different areas where you could do that. Right. So kind of went through that fairly quickly, but those are the 2 main ways that folks organize their references in RefWorks. So by folders, subfolders, and by tags. So this is something that you kind of develop over time as well. You start off with maybe a few different folders, and then as you get more assignments or you're moving more into your dissertation, you may want to get more refinement in your folders, or your folder list will increase as well. So before I move on to how to create reference lists and in-text citations, I'm going to pause for water and also pause for a question or 2, if there are any.
Yes. Hi, Melody. I was in the process of answering it, but there is a question from Rod. The question is, why would you choose to separate projects with its own folders rather than have all your projects just kind of under one project, different folders and subfolders? Is there a benefit to setting up new projects in RefWorks?
Oh, sure. So what I created different folders because I was actually working with different faculty members on different projects. So I'm not going to I'm actually not going to use the same references for each of those projects. So I just decided that I'm going to have different projects. So I don't confuse folks. I think this is what we're talking about. So these are all the different projects I have. I'm going to open the manage project. So what I was saying is that I was working with different different folks in different projects, and each of these projects were using unique resources. So I wasn't sharing any resources within different projects. So just to make it easier on myself and make it more clear, and also since I will be sharing the project with my co-authors or co-collaborators, I didn't want to share my entire library with them. So I created different projects for each of the different projects that I was working on. I hope that answered your question. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so now I'm going to go into creating citations. And this is one of the most used after you have your references in there, you've organized them. A lot of folks really find it useful that RefWorks can connect with a writing software. So it can connect with Microsoft Word and Google Docs. It also connects with Hangul, which I think it's mostly used in South Korea. I'm not too familiar with it, but that's also another option. So with Microsoft Word, if you are using version 16 and above, there's something called RefWorks Citation Manager that you can find in the Microsoft Word store. And if you have an older version, there is a way to use RefWorks with that as well, but you have to download a software called Write and Cite. And all of this you can find under that tools link when you log into your RefWorks account. So Google Docs, also you can find that under, if you log into your account, go to add-ons and you could get your add-ons there. So just a little tip about Google Docs. I've noticed that I've had questions with folks using their usc.edu Google account, and sometimes it's not allowing them to add the Google Docs add-on. I don't know if it's USC ITS or Information Technology department issue, but what I found is that when I use my personal Gmail, it works perfectly. When I'm using my usc.edu one, it kind of gets a little clunky. So I just wanted to put that out there. Microsoft Word seems to be working pretty well for me. So again, you could find under tools. That's where you could find more information about how to install Microsoft Word and Google Docs. But let me actually go into first off, my RefWorks Google Docs account. So let's say I'm using Google Docs, right? And I'm writing my paper, and I've already installed RefWorks into Google Docs or connected them together. So I go into my add-ons tab or link, and there's RefWorks, ProQuest RefWorks, Manage Citations. I select that. And it's going to open up an area where all my references or my references with the current project that I'm working on are listed. So you'll notice that these are like the articles that were in my my project. So I'm writing, right? So I'm writing the best paper of my life here. And so I need to put in an in-text citation. So let's say I like this, I need to cite this particular article here, student characteristics and collegiate environments. I put the cursor at the end of the sentence that I want the citation to be in. And then I select cite this. And what this is going to do, it should do, is create an in-text citation, and then it creates a reference list for me in APA format because I've selected APA format. And then as I go along here, as I'm writing more, and I need to put in another in-text citation. I can select the cite this. And it puts in the in-text citation, and then it starts adding to my reference list. So it will keep it in alphabetical order. So as you're adding references, the more you're writing, it'll actually keep it in alphabetical order. I'm actually gonna share my Word. Let me share my entire desktop here. So can you, Alyssa, can you see my entire screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So let me move that. And so this is my Microsoft Word document, right? So again, I'm writing the best paper of my life. It's going to be A++. So I'm writing, and you'll notice up here this this ribbon, Microsoft Word ribbon, or I think they still call it that. But there's a tab here, RCM. So I can, that stands for RefWorks Citation Manager. So I click that, and it does open up, or it opens up to this kind of lower menu. If you click on RefWorks Citation Manager, so similar to Google Docs, it opens something up on the side, right? So as I'm writing, similar to Google Docs, I would like to cite this particular article, and it'll create the in-text citation for me. And then it's going to start to add references towards the end of it. So this is a good place to just remind you that whatever gets ingested into RefWorks will be put out there. So it looks like we have the authors seem to be the same. They seem to be similar people. And then I don't think Sage Publications would be the appropriate journal. So keep in mind that you may have to edit your citations or edit your references within RefWorks to come up with the correct APA citation or whatever citation style you're using. Yeah, so keep that in mind. You still need to know APA just to know that, like, to proofread your work, and also to know that like RefWorks is putting out the correct kind of version or correct formatting of this. So yeah, so this is, you can edit this within Microsoft Word as well. So I think it's opening it up, but you can edit within there. You could kind of change things. You can insert citations. There's also, yeah, so I opened up a little main menu there, and you can change your citation style. You can change which project you want to display. So if I actually want to, I just remember there's an article in that particular one that I want to use, or I'm writing a different paper and I need to use a different project, you could change projects here. And you can turn on and off your bibliography. So if you don't want it listed at the end, and it might be distracting for you at the end, you could turn it on and off, and you can, yeah, turn it on whenever you want. All right, so that is Google Docs and Microsoft Word. All right, so before I move on, I don't have too much left. Were there any questions? Any questions before I finish up?
Melanee, quick question.
Yeah.
If you, well, I guess it's just a matter of putting them both in and taking out the parentheses. I'm answering my own question. You know, for like a lit review, you might have multiple articles that are saying the same thing, and you're going to reference 2 or 3, right? Normally they'll go in one. But I guess it's just a matter of putting the 3 of them in there and then taking out the parentheses, I guess.
I think so. Let's see if we, do you mean like within the same parentheses?
Yeah, because normally
Okay.
you put the, ampersand and then put the next, or no, the semicolon and then the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
I think you'll
have to
exactly.
manually do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Catherine. All right. So just a couple more things. You don't have to use Microsoft Word or Google Docs to create a bibliography. You could do that within the RefWorks software itself, or the site itself. So you can select create bibliography, and then you can do like a quick cite if you just want to cite one particular article. And it'll open up a couple of different windows for you. So it'll ask you which citation style you want to use, and then which article you actually want to cite. And it'll create like the in-text citation for you. And then you can copy and paste it onto your document. And then it'll actually create a bibliography, or the reference for you that goes at the end of the document if you're using APA. And then you can copy and paste that here, or copy here and then paste it onto your document. You can also create a whole bibliography of all the items in your library, or all the items in a particular folder. So I hit create bibliography. And then let's say I just want these 3 items. I only use these 3 in my paper. I hit create bibliography, and it'll actually create a reference list of all 3 of those items. And then this is where you can copy the items and then paste it onto your document, whether that's Word or Microsoft Word or Google Docs or any other software that you use, right? And you can also change the citation style up here as well. All right. So I know we kind of went over fairly quickly, not fairly quickly, but the most commonly used features in RefWorks. So adding references, organizing references, making sure the references are correct by going into the record itself, adding like organizing them by tags or folders, and then creating a reference list and in-text citations. So this will be recorded, so you can watch this all over again. You'll have the slides, but I do want you to have some information about where you can find more information on the different features in RefWorks. So they do have quite a few YouTube videos. So RefWorks has created a YouTube channel. And then we do have a guide that the library created for the Citation Manager. And then the RefWorks Knowledge Center, it goes more in depth into maybe some issues you may be having with Microsoft Word, or the best way to delete duplicates, or kind of those like more intricate questions. The Knowledge Center may be able to answer those questions or give you more information about that. All right. So that is it for me with the slides, but I do, of course, want to answer any questions that folks may have before we end it. All right, so let me check the chat.
Yeah, no questions in
Right.
the chat.
Okay, perfect. Well, so thank you so much for attending the RefWorks workshop. Again, feel free to contact us. Alyssa Brissett is our social work librarian. I'm the head of education and social work library services, so which means I work with mainly the School of Education. And we also have our colleague Kelsey Vukic, who is our social and behavioral sciences librarian. I say all that because we actually share in answering the questions within this email that's on the screen. So feel free to contact us about this particular workshop or any other ones that you may have attended. So thank you.